Now this trail might be a little bit more difficult when all the leaves come down and cover it up, but it's pretty easy to use the lake as a point of reference. And it's hard to get lost when you know on the way back you keep the lake on your right hand side and then follow it back to that grassy area where the signs are posted. Okay, I'm walking back through the forest now. It's creepy and dark. And of course, a bad feeling came over me when I started walking back through the woods. It was much nicer on that rock back there, right next to the water and the sun. So the military uses these energy systems to affect people's moods. And this triggers them to stay in places. And it says on the sign over there that no camping or hiking after dark. So who knows what type of games these degenerates will play with a couple people that are staying out in their car. And so it's real easy for the military to turn these things on when people want to walk back, and maybe they may decide to spend the night since it's so much nicer over there in the rock. only daytime hiking, cross-country skiing, or snowshoeing permitted in this area. No camping, no fires. You can even have mountain bikes here. So we'll take a look at another disappearing trail here. It starts off looking like a trail, and I guess it's kind of worn due to the fact that people are walking around the perimeter of the reservoir or the pond here. And it looks like there's a little bit of a trail here. And if you think it leads out this place, you can kind of walk out a little ways, and it's real easy to get lost, especially if you don't have something like a reservoir as a landmark. So I'm just trying to let you know how not to get lost in the woods. I'll tell you a little story. I went out into the woods when it was snowing. It was a snowstorm, and I didn't go out too far. And I did it to try to light a fire with like material that was wet or under snow. And I managed to get a small fire lit. It's real hard to keep it going. And when I went to walk back, my footprints, it was snowing so hard that my footprints started to kind of fill in with snow. And as fate would have it, when I got about halfway in, another hiker was walking all over the place, and so I really couldn't distinguish my footprints from the hiker's footprints, so I spent an hour trying to find my way out. So it's a little nerve-wracking getting lost in the woods. So bring the spray chalk so that you can mark your trail. I think it's better to bring that than to bring the ribbon. It's real easy to rip down those ribbons. So I think the spray chalk will work good. Just get the dark colors like red or blue and make sure it stands out in seasons like the fall. Yellow is not so good, I found out today. So there's some more markings out there in the woods. It looks like there's an open area. And then this caught my eye right here. So it looks like they're trying to get people lost up here. Look at that. They think it's a good idea to cross that swamp and then head up to the woods up there. I've never seen a hiking trail that crosses over a moat like this. They want you to cross over that. So it looks like some people up here are hell-bent on getting you lost. Okay, so as we see, the road here is well worn. Someone has taken the time to remove any of the large sticks that fall in. And you can see the leaves are kind of crunched up on the road here. It looks like trucks come up here quite often. I don't know if you can see, there's like an indent on either side of the road that suggests kind of heavier, larger vehicles go up and down here. So obviously that tree fell down and it probably went over the road, and of course they came up here with chainsaws and they cut it up and stacked it up here. So this is a pretty well maintained road here. So I saw these bread ties on the rock area back there by the reservoir. So I picked it up to look at the dates, and of course at that point the the best thing to do is to go ahead and bag it up. You don't want to touch something and then leave it in an area that you may be investigating. However, it is very dangerous to bring stuff home and think that it may be okay. What they're doing is they're putting black mold and mold all over stuff and leaving it out. I got a video of finding a ripped shirt hanging on the side of a trail. It was hanging on a tree on the side of a trail. And when I got it home, I put it in the plastic bag. And the next day I noticed that it smelled real bad. It smelled like it had been doused with some chemical, and it smelled moldy. So it's real bad to take that and put that in a box and then get mold all over your house. They could also spray some sort of chemical in there that will be harmful for you to breathe. So you have to be very careful with what you will bring home as evidence. So I have an older video that I took around November 30th of 2017, and I was on the same trail, and I saw a clearing off to the left of the trail as I walked back down. So I decided to cross through the woods over to this clearing to see what it was. Now once again, the best thing to do if you don't have spray chalk is to follow something like a rock wall. We have many rock walls in New England. I guess this used to be farmland, and the farmers would plow the fields and they would throw the rocks in rock walls. Over the decades, the forest has grown back in, so we have rock walls all over the place through the woods. But it is very easy to get lost in the woods. I can't stress that enough. It may seem that you're only walking a little ways off of the trail, but it becomes difficult to find your way back. So if you don't have something like spray chalk, do something like find a rock wall that you could follow over to the clearing or what you're checking out. So once I got to this clearing, I saw that it was a field, and the field was shaped like a hillside leading up to a ridge that's about 50 feet wide, I guess. So I walked around the perimeter of this field, and I did not really notice anything that looked unusual. There were, however, some trees with damaged or missing tree bark. So that is the entrance way down to Eaton Road down there. And I saw that it was a driveway that was chained off. However, I accessed this field through the woods. But obviously a field like this could hold large crowds of people. And there was this dirt trail leading on the side of the hillside going up. And once I reached the top, I saw that there was this flat section of land. There was this ridge, and it reminded me something of a stage. But anyway, here is this empty field, a field that looks like it's not being used for anything, even though it is well maintained. It doesn't have any branches or debris or junk on the field. It's mowed. It does not look like it's a good place for someone to set up their camp, because it's on the side of this hill. So I cannot picture someone coming up with an RV or a mobile home and parking it on an incline on the side of this hill. But regardless, I later found out that it has a driveway that's chained off with a sign that says something on it. So across from this field is another field that I'll show you in a little bit when we return to the more recent footage that I took on September 24th of 2019.